Well, Pakistan have hosted an ICC tournament after almost 30 years. And after the 35th over, their fans started walking out of the stadium. That was the sorry state of affairs in Pakistan's game today. You got to feel for the fans today because Pakistan have really disappointed today. New Zealand won by 60 runs with 2.4 overs to spare. We're back at Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami. I've got DK and Murali Kartik with me. New Zealand off to a flyer, but just really disappointing to see how Pakistan started their campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. You've hit the nail on its head, especially from the top 3 or 4. Yes, you are up against it, 320. You're up against a very disciplined and a very spirited New Zealand team. But then if you're hosting and you're out there representing your country, I still am trying to get my head around some of the innings played by some of their senior batters. Seriously, it was just unbelievable. I can tell you as a bowler that if you're not going to put pressure on me, happy days for me. I can roll my 10 overs. If I'm a sensible one, I'll roll my 10 overs and just walk away. And you saw, even somebody as good as Mitch Santner, when he was put under pressure by the lower order or by Khushdil, he succumbed to it. If you're not going to put any pressure on the opposition and just play from your crease and play for yourself and play for your own runs, I'm really sorry. I think that is very, very disappointing. You're letting not only yourself down, but an entire set of people who are out there believing in you. And I think that was pretty disappointing, I felt.
You know, DK, we spoke about the intent. They just didn't show the intent up at the top. And it was pretty much the writing was on the wall when you saw what happened in the first 10 overs.
Yeah, they did it the other way around, isn't it? What they should have done in the first few overs is what they tried to do at the back end, the last 20. But that's too late. You can't play a power play at 22. I understand that the ball is just seaming and swinging so much, but just sheer pace can't trouble you so much. And the fact that they weren't able to back it up soon after in the next phase for 10 overs, the next 10 overs post that, tells me that they don't have a great plan, do they? I mean, chasing 320... with how the current formats are evolving, you back yourself to score 140, 150 in the last 20, fair enough. But you can't be 22 and expect to score 300 runs and then by the time the 20th over comes, you're almost expected to chase at 9 runs an over. That's not how you exactly want to be doing it. That's putting too much pressure on yourself. You got to have calculated it a lot better.
You know, Kartik, one is the intent not shown, and like DK is saying that you have to calculate it a little better. Even if the ball was swinging around, even if the conditions were tough, 104 dot balls in 25 overs is just unacceptable.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is where you have to ask questions. If you are the think tank, you're the team management, and look, some of them have been captains, they are senior players in the side, and they are the ones around whom and people are banking on you. These are the people around whom innings are built on. But it doesn't get to an extent where you have put so much pressure on the others coming in. And sometimes it's tougher. Yes, you didn't have the dew. So the ball was spinning. We saw when they took on Glenn Phillips, they were able to score runs. They didn't try anything against the seamers. Yes, they're going to be disciplined. Look, you're up against one of the most disciplined teams in the world. They're always going to be a cohesive unit. And if you're going to allow them to run roughshod all over you, they will do it every day. So that is why I felt, whether it's a plan, just something to showcase that we are coming or we are going for those runs. I think that is what puts pressure on the bowlers. Nothing of that sort. And that is disappointing.
But DK, New Zealand, on the other hand, they were so disciplined. They've just given away 5 extras, and I spoke about the dot balls. So we've seen, like I said, they have a plan and they stick to that plan. And today they've executed it perfectly. In the whole innings, they've had 162 dot balls.
Mind-boggling, actually. That's more than half the balls as dot balls. I do think the bowling was brilliant. I think the pacers were very good. The spinners were good as well. They weren't challenged as much, but I thought the hero of the whole thing was the fielding effort. I think they were easily the better team. In all 3 departments, they were definitely better than Pakistan. But I think if you put any team in the world, I think New Zealand will be one of the top sides when it comes to fielding. We're used to it, but they're just the way they... Obviously, we saw Glenn Phillips doing magic at point, but also the way they were covering angles at covers and mid-wicket. the way they were rushing into balls, they were able to use the dew to sometimes slide and get close to the ball. Many small things which you're expecting when you see New Zealand play, but it was really nice to see them do it yet again in a world platform.
You know, I want to understand one thing is, did Pakistan get it wrong from the very start? Because they won the toss, and do you think that it went wrong at the toss in itself?
Maybe they were banking on a bit of dew. They were hoping, we've not seen the surface, but whatever we've seen today, it was not an easy surface. They would be kicking themselves having allowed them to get to 320 because the ball was doing a bit. They can ask million questions. Did we pick the right spinners? Are spinners good enough? Because the way the other three spinners bowled, yes, Mitchell Santner went for runs, but the first 6 or 7 overs, he went for spits. Actually, nothing at all. You look at Bracewell, he gave nothing but 38 in 10 overs. Glenn Phillips, yes, he's been a bit expensive because Salman Agha went after him, and so it was a question of batters going after certain people. But the thing is, you have to show intent. Oh, okay, I accept that you have taken time to get set, you have taken time to get your runs, but then you can't just throw it away and come. You want to take it to the finish line. You want to make up for the balls that you have eaten up. I think that was missing. I think till the time Salman Agha came, I know that Fakhar Zaman was indisposed and he was struggling. Otherwise, it could have been a different story at the top. But I was actually disappointed with the way Babar went about it. You are the senior most batters. You are in the holy four of world cricket. You can't be batting like that. You could be woefully out of form, but you're playing for your country. And I think that is not acceptable. I felt, and as DK said, what they did later on is something they should have done at the top of the innings so that things become easier, because you're chasing 320 against a disciplined side who are going to make it look like 350. In the first 5 overs, even the shots were played, they cut the angles in such a way that somebody is diving and the other one backs up.
Yes.
They are a side like that. And if you give them a sniff, they're going to be all over you. And I think sometimes intent and the will, sometimes you need to tell the bowler that I am coming for you.
Yes.
That's when he's going to get offline. And if you're not going to allow that or not going to do that, I'm really sorry. New Zealand, you're not going to get any runs against them.
You know, whatever said and done, we have to give credit to New Zealand because, yes, Pakistan was very disappointing today. No intent shown, no will shown. But just tactically, when they've come into this ground, it almost felt like they are playing at home. It felt like so much at ease playing in Pakistan. From overs 13 to 30, they had continuous spin going. So they clearly had strategies which they stuck to, DK.
They evolved and adapted depending on who was batting. And why I say that is, up until the 13th over, they bowled fast bowlers. But the moment Fakhar Zaman came in, they kept the spinners going as long as they could. Because Fakhar Zaman is good against left-arm spin. So Mitchell Santner held himself back and bowled both the off-spinners and said, you keep bowling. And bowl it outside the off-stump slower. And that's what's required on this pitch. It was slightly new, the ball. It was gripping and turning nicely for him. It was only a matter of time before I expected Fakhar Zaman to top edge one, because the way he was batting, he was looking for the slog sweep, couldn't rotate strike, understandably so because of his injury. And I don't know what state he's going to be in. I wouldn't be surprised if he's ruled out from next game as well. But just the way New Zealand used their bowlers, as soon as Fakhar Zaman got out, he brought himself on, Mitchell Santner brought himself on, and then kept things tight. And he only went for runs at the back end when he was looking to actually buy wickets. At that stage, he knew the game was done and he was looking for a few wickets, cheap wickets, as they say, towards the end. But why not? He's earned the right to do that. On the other hand, he kept rotating Bracewell, who bowled brilliantly right up to the end. And then they used Glenn Phillips through and through whenever required. In between, he brought in Nathan Smith. So I thought tactically, they were very astute, something that you expect from New Zealand. They're always very good when it comes to planning, understanding what needs to be what needs to be done in that pitch and those conditions, and they did it really well.
But we've spoken about this in the pre-match as well and in the mid-match. The spin department for Pakistan, how they're probably lacking the skill, which is why they only have Abrar. With New Zealand, like you said, tactically, because Fakhar also the injury, they got the off-spinners in. But the spin departments, I think, also set both the teams aside today, do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, tactics, you can look at the number of runs given away by the seamers at the fag end or the back end of the New Zealand batting. A bit too many. I don't think they would have been thinking 320 was something on the cards. Maybe I thought 270, the way they were going. Too many runs in the end. And also, the way they tackle spinners. People will say that we are subcontinental batters, we are subcontinental countries, we should be able to tackle spin, and it's not as if you've got somebody bowling. It's Mitch Santner and Bracewell,
Yes.
who are quality bowlers. Mitch Santner is one of the most improved white ball bowlers. Why white ball bowler? He bowled better than many of our spinners when he came over here. And you're up against three bowlers. Somebody like Glenn Phillips has got this funny knack. He gives the ball a rip, is very classical in the way he bowls. And the way Bracewell bowled in that phase, he slowed it down. It's not just slowing down. They're slowing it down with revs. They're slowing it down with accuracy. And they're slowing it down at a pace, at a place where they're getting enough turn. The ball was bouncing as high as possibly the shoulder of the wicketkeeper. You look at the comparison there. Look at the degree of turn. It's just, it's stark. It's pretty stark. Yes, understandable. The Pakistani spinners are not spinners of the ball. Abrar is a very different category. We don't think Kushdil spins the ball enough. They're all rollers of the ball. But these two guys are genuine spinners. It's quite evident when you see the spin vision, you see the way the seam's going, the way the ball's rotating on its axis. It's clearly evident that these are quality spinners. If given the kind of surfaces which were on offer today, they are going to be a handful.
You know, DK, I asked you this when you were sitting in the green room as well. Were they playing on different tracks? Because the New Zealand spinners were turning it square, as opposed to the Pakistani spinners. They didn't really get that kind of turn at all.
The New Zealand spinners are more traditional, more talented. They bowl overspin. A lot of the spinners these days resort to side spin. But that's why you see a Glenn Phillips seam. It's a lot more straighter. So, he gets a lot more revels on the ball. He gets this wrist through the ball. He finishes his action very nicely. Even Santner, he's a bit of a side spinner, but still he uses the speed of the ball so well compared to some others around the world. And then you have Bracewell, again, who's a very conventional off spinner, goes up over the ball. And that's why if you do see that stat that the producer put up, the one startling stat is when there was tremendous turn, which is more than 4.5 degrees, New Zealand got it 49% of the times, whereas Pakistan only got less than 11%, which tells you that A, the pitch obviously started to turn a lot more, but B, also they were imparting more spin on the ball, and that's why you get so much difference. Otherwise, you wouldn't get that. And as I said, the lack of quality finger spinners in Pakistan is probably showing a bit as well. They're always looking at left-arm spinners who could bat a bit. Santner is a blessing for New Zealand. Not every team is blessed with such a talent. But the fact is that definitely the New Zealand spinners used the conditions well. And they made sure that they didn't give away easy boundaries up until the end, when ideally they were actually being greedy a bit and looking for those wickets, which is understandable. Sometimes the spinners earn the right to do that as well. But you got to understand they were bowling with a much wetter ball. That makes it really hard to spin a ball at that stage.
You know, it felt like both the spinners from both the teams, like they were playing on different pitches. But even the Pakistani batters, they looked like they were playing on different pitches because the top order was looking really out of it. And then, like DK said, the 69 from Kushdil and even the 42 from Salman Agha, it was the intent that the top order didn't show at all.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is what we've been harping on. When we are sitting and watching a game, what do you look for? You're looking for somebody. You don't want people to go at both ends unless and until you've decided that two batters are going to go from both ends. If you're thinking that one has to be the person who's going to be there till the end, then you don't end up putting pressure on the other person. It's as simple as that. You always talk about players working in pairs. You talk about batters working in pairs. And that was not happening. Look, we'll continue to say that New Zealand bowled well.
Yes.
They were also allowed to bowl well. You are. That's what I want to do. I want to come and bowl well. But if a batter does something different, that is when my mind starts thinking, I need to come up with something else. What is he trying to do? But if you're going to stand like a dead duck and keep batting, and I'll continue to bowl. That's exactly what I've been saying. If you're allowed to bowl, a good spinner, a good bowler will finish his quota of 10 overs and walk away silently.
So DK, who should take the onus of this loss for Pakistan? Do you think it's the batters or it's the bowlers with what they did?
Oh, I think it's the senior batters. Rizwan, Babar Azam. I don't think they showed too much.
So 320 was chaseable on this track.
100%. You can definitely chase 300 if you start well. Through the middle, even though the spinners bowl well, you'll have the conviction to play a few more shots, put pressure back, and then you take it to a stage where even 1085, 1090 was chaseable if you had 5 wickets in hand, not 150. Now, that is too much. And then you didn't have wickets in hand either. You had 4. Luckily, the scorecard looks a lot better because of what Kushdil did at the end. Otherwise, they would have lost by a lot more and people would come down a lot more harsh on them. That's a startling fact because if you look at what happened, it was only Salman Agha who started to show some intent. Fakhar Zaman wanted to but couldn't. That is different. That is still understandable and acceptable. But the top three, there was nothing there. There was nobody putting pressure on Matt Henry. Yes, it was swinging a little bit, I agree. They bowled well. But in international cricket, they'll do that. I mean, bowling 140 is normal. You need to find a way to put pressure back on them. You can understand if it's seeming too much. Then it's hard, to play shots. But they were just looking to play conventional cricket shots. There's no pressure back. You need to be able to move in the crease. Can you step out once? Can you play the lap once? Something to put pressure back on the bowler.
And I'm saying, look, for Christ's sake, let's get it real here. We were playing in Karachi, not Christchurch.
Yes.
And people are going to bowl well. And I'm saying don't even play laps and reverse sweeps. I'm saying please take singles, show some intent to make the other person at the other end feel that I am also here in a contest. That was a no contest. You're only getting punched and you're taking the punches and just falling down.
Yes.
That's exactly what it was. And it is Karachi.
No, they made it look like a Christchurch
Exactly.
wicket for sure. That's what happened. But someone has to take onus when you lose your first opening game at home. 60 runs is a massive margin, which is going to make a big difference in that net run rate, that always comes in later in the tournament, especially a tournament like this. So, big loss for Pakistan. The net run rate there in minus already.
I think they should be thanking themselves for it to be this minus 1.2. It could have been a lot worse. But as we say, it's a short tournament. You don't have room for too much error. They've already, missed one. They have to hope that they have a good game against India. Otherwise, I think the tournament is done.
And do you think there's a lot of pressure on Rizwan now?
100%. Yes. Look, you're playing at home. You're coming back. It's coming back to your country after such a long time. You're hosting something prestigious after, 29 years. And you've already lost the Tri-Series, which people expected you to win. And then you've started against the same opponents. And it's the matter of defeat. Sometimes people are fine, supporters are fine, everyone, even team management is fine if you have shown some fight. If there has been some sort of a contest. But this looked like a no contest. Maybe because it was made to feel like a no contest. So, of course, he'll be reeling. He'll be absolutely seething from inside. I don't know what the backlash is going to be tomorrow. You yourself said, your own people, if they start walking away, it's not as if the opposition is on the mat. Your team is on the mat and your people start walking away. I don't know what's going to happen.
When games like this happen, Saimi, sometimes you start losing the dressing room. You've got to be very careful with that.
And so early in the
tournament.
Yes.
It's understandable if a young guy, debutant, goes there, doesn't know what to do, is a bit like a deer in the headlights. He's trying, but it's not happening. That's okay. But a senior player who's been around goes and in many ways plays at a tempo which is far lesser than what is required and then, gets out. And somebody else just comes and knocks it around and gets us to a decent score. So if you lose the trust of the dressing room, then it becomes a very uphill battle post that. And that's something that Pakistan have done a few times before. And then you hear a lot of murmurs about things not being happy in the dressing room, etc., etc. I really hope that doesn't happen. Because they're on their path back to, try and get a good team going for the near future. And we spoke about it in the pre-show. There's almost a World Cup every year.
Yes.
Pakistan were completely dismantled from the World Test Championship final. They have nothing, no place to go there. They have to start fresh again. But there's a World Cup next year, T20 World Cup. And then at 50 over World Cup next year. They need to find a way to keep getting better as a team, not do well in one or two series, come and get pummeled in a world event, again start from scratch every time.
And since you're talking about formats, this is the format where they've actually done better than the other two formats.
Yeah.
T20 was, a test match was abysmal, T20 was bad, and this has been their best format. And if you start like this, again, it's about the intent. It's about the fact that you are there for a fight. You lose, there is one team which is going to win. But at least there was a fight. There was a willingness to go out there and put yourself on the line. And as long as you keep pounding the pavement, there is always something good that will happen. And I think that was missing today.
Well, I was just looking at the Cricbuzz app because I wanted to see what Rizwan said post the match. And he said we were looking at something around 260. As a captain, he thought that's the score that they were expecting. We tried our best and used all tactics, but they played well and put up a good target. We see the pitch conditions. Earlier, the pitch wasn't easy to bat, but Will Young and Latham's time was easier. So he says that 320 was...
They got 260. That's what they were looking at. They got 260.
He was talking about New Zealand, I think.
No, I'm saying they thought New Zealand should get to 260, so they got 260.
Yeah.
Fine. Fair enough.
Well, we just hope that they can bounce back from here. If I'm not wrong, I think even in 2017, they started a little slowly with the Champions
Yeah, they actually
Trophy.
they got smashed by India.
Yes.
You know, UVPA played a brilliant knock at the back end and we won comfortably. But then things fell in place for them. I think we lost to Sri Lanka, but they beat Sri Lanka and then things just evened out. But, you know, let's
So
wait
we all
and see.
know that cricket's a funny game and this is a short tournament, but we know that they can bounce back. But we need to also look at what's happening tomorrow because it is India's first game in Dubai. India take on Bangladesh tomorrow. And of course, always lots of excitement when it's India's first game. There's always so much to talk about. So we will start with India first. Of course, India coming in with lots of confidence, coming in looking strongest on paper, the 3-0 win against England. So everything looking good for India to start their campaign.
Yeah, you have to say that because we needed two of our top batters and two of the white ball giants of India to be in a bit of form. Rohit got a sparkling 100. Yep. Cricket is a leveler. He got an absolute pearler the next game and got out. We saw Virat coming into some sort of a form. He looked in good touch. One of our senior most batters, the vice captain of the side, was looking in ominous form. Shreyas Iyer and his form since, 2023, the last 2 years, he's been averaging 52. He's done something different to the way he bats, flapping his bat a lot more, and then he looked a lot more comfortable against anything which was dished out to him. And look, there's something about his timing. The way the ball comes off his bat is something which is very special, which everybody who's watched him over a period of time has been noticing. Again, you've got a plethora of spinners, all of them double up as batters. Yep, you're going to miss Bumrah. Any side is going to miss Bumrah. But the thing is, hopefully, the way Harshit Rana bowled or the way Arshdeep is shaping up, you have a great, very good side there. And hopefully they'll start the tournament in style because people will kill me for this because I said Bangladesh or whatever. But I think Bangladesh is a dangerous enough side. On their day, they can be a banana skin for you. They've been a banana skin for many sides and they have been a big banana skin for India. Yes. Let's not forget 2007 where they literally smashed us. So they can be a banana skin, as I said. And we need to be really watchful and not take them lightly at all just because we are coming off a good run.
DK, he's done the job for you and made it very easy. Karthik's covered it all for you. But quickly, I want to ask you, who are your three spinners going to be for tomorrow's game and is Arshdeep going to be in?
Yes, Arshdeep will be in. And for me, the three spinners would be Jadeja, Akshar Patel and Kuldeep Yadav. The
same for you?
100%. Absolutely. I love the way Kuldeep bowls. Jadeja and Akshar Patel has grown in confidence in spite of having somebody like Ravindra Jadeja breathing down his neck, or as a comparison, he's still matching him toe to toe. That's something which is really laudable. And Kuldeep Yadav, it's good to see him coming back after that groin surgery. He's worked on his game and he's got a bag of tricks. So every time you want wickets in the middle overs, I think he's the man you want to turn to. So absolutely. Those will be my three as well.
DK, he spoke about Bangladesh being like a banana peel to a lot of teams. The previous 5 matches they've played against India, the 5 ODIs they've played, Bangladesh has won thrice. And the captain has come out saying we're here the Champions Trophy to win. So he's coming out with that intent in the press conference. Of course, with Bangladesh, we'll have a look at their squad. They've got the 3-4 big names with the big experience with Mohammad, or you talk about, of course, the captain Shanto. But what can we expect from Bangladesh?
They're a good side. I don't rate them too highly. I feel there is a lot of holes, mainly experience. They never played a world event or a multi-nation event without the likes of Shakib from the time he's debuted. That is one. Tamim Iqbal is another miss who's a player that they bank on. But apart from that, for me, their worry for Bangladesh is always the fact that they're strong in spin and not so strong in pace. But things have changed, actually. They've got a very good pace attack. They have Taskin Ahmed, who's very good. They have Nahid Rana, who I feel is a terrific bowler, sharp. And they also have a couple of younger bowlers who are doing well, Mustafizur and all of them. Mustafizur has been there for some time now. For me, whenever I see Bangladesh in the recent past, it's the belief. They actually don't believe when it comes to India because of how often they've played and how often they've gotten beaten and how they have gotten beaten as well. That is kind of gotten them into a mindset where they just don't believe sometimes that they can beat India. That's why in bilaterals in Bangladesh, they're very strong. But when you play a world event in the recent past, whenever we have played them, I've noticed that they can do a lot better than what they have. Sometimes they get into good positions, strong positions, but they just crumble from there. That boils down to belief. I wish that changes a bit for them, especially against India, but I still feel India will have a comfortable game tomorrow.
It's interesting he says that. You think the skill is there and the belief's not there?
Yeah, 100%. I'm not denying that, but I'm just saying that we need to be watchful. And because they have hurt us in the past, so I would always be watchful. Look, they've been there for a while now. Like we talk about New Zealand and that they punch well above their weight. Bangladesh have got lots of talented players, but are you playing together? And especially on a consistent basis. You cannot say that, oh, we don't have experience, we are a new side. They've been around for a while now. And you can't have those sporadic games where you have success and then suddenly you go back to doing what you do. You want them to have a bit of consistency. But the thing is, for me, because we are starting against them, because we have been hurt in the past, I want to be watchful. If I am an Indian team, I'm not going there thinking that I've just trounced a strong England side, literally blown them away, won by big margins. I'll be watchful against Bangladesh. That's all I'm saying.
But tactically, what keeps India in good stead is the fact that Bangladesh depends a little bit on Mahdi Hassan Miraz, and India have a lot of right-handers through the middle. So that should help India. Rishad Hussain is a good bowler, but he's a better T20 bowler at the moment than ODI, because in ODI you keep that extra fielder inside. That puts a lot of pressure on a wrist spinner. So those matchups work in India's favour, but I back India to have a comfortable game, but cricket is a funny sport, as you say.
So your players to watch out for, DK?
For me, Shubman Gill with the bat. I think he's in a rollicking form and he's very hungry for success, so I'm looking out for him with the bat.
And from Bangladesh, one from each team?
Yeah, for Bangladesh, surely my favourite right now is Nahid Rana. I think he makes it very awkward for a batter and he bowls sharp. He can bowl a good ball right in the middle of the game when you don't expect a fast bowler to pick a wicket. So I bank him to do well tomorrow.
And your two players?
I've always been saying Shubman Gill, and I want Kuldeep to have a good game. Sometimes
one from each team.
Only one from each side. I don't have any from the Bangladesh side, so that's why I picked up two from India.
All right.
I can't seem to be picking one from Bangladesh, but I just feel I picked one bowler and one batter from India.
Okay, then we'll wait and watch and see what is in store for us tomorrow. But we have to also do the necessary things that we do at Cricbuzz, especially because DK has the answer for it today. So we are smiling. Let's have a look at Joyda's question. 4 cricketers connected in some way made their debuts in 83, 2017, 18 and 24. What has the last managed to do in 25 that the other 3 didn't? DK, it's yours and please explain it.
So these are a group of father and sons. Kevin Curran played in 83. Tom Curran played in 2017. Sam Curran played in 2018. And the youngest brother of them all, Ben Curran, played in 2024 for Zimbabwe. And in 2025, Ben Curran got his first international 100 among the Curran family.
We have to applaud because very rarely do people in the studio get the answer, and this was a very elaborately, nicely explained answer.
Out of syllabus question.
Yeah, totally out of syllabus. Besides DK, who we clap for, let's have a look at who got it quickest. Suryansh has gotten it at the quickest, and this is a name, I don't know if we've seen it earlier. Joyda know best, but well done. We hope to see your name coming up more and more often all through the Champions Trophy, just like we'd want to see Murali Kartik get more and more bullseyes.
For me, when you look at that graphic again, the way Joyda is standing and he's looking at you sternly as if, how did you get it?
No, they've changed it. He used to give us pleasant thumbs up, which they've changed and made Joyda more stern.
Oh, is it?
Yes. But now is that time where you get to see yourself up there smiling.
Is it? Why? Why is that?
Because you've hit a bullseye today.
How many points do I get?
Oh, you're standing there with a stern face just like Joyda though.
So how is it that 50-50? Achha, 51. Okay. I was just thinking bullseye.
Oh, that's a win percentage and you've got 1 bullseye. That's why you top the list because
So what is this
bullseye.
other 50 for the others?
50% of the guesses got right. One guess right. One out of the two guesses they got right.
Okay.
Oh, so I think
the
we
The
other
shared
second
it.
guess nobody
What
can
was the
get.
other guess?
Pakistan got 10 overs, 22. Everybody said 50,
no, but
60.
How did anyone else get 50? I don't understand.
Because they're within 10 runs margin of.
Is the first
was
innings
expected.
10-run margin?
Yeah, I need to get a handbook to understand what this is.
So there's going to be a little bit of tuition and class of how the prediction game works right after we finish. I
Yeah,
think it's very
I need a
necessary
handbook.
because we are very serious about this. DK, of course, is always ready to fly away somewhere very soon. And you are flying away very soon. Are you flying as well right away?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He has to go and do India game. I have to go and do WPL game.
Lovely. We've got two busy people flying up and down, but they will be joining us very soon. Thank you so much for today. It was great fun. I will not hold you all back for too long to make you all miss your flights, but I'll see you all soon. And thank you so much to everyone who watched. We will be here for the first game that India plays tomorrow. So don't forget to join us tomorrow at 2 p.m. Good night and goodbye.